on your logic, we're going to see him get demolished.
Yeah, we are. Okay. But I hope not, because Osyb is a good friend of mine. But we have Keith Palmer on the left side of your screen playing Naya mid-range. So it's pretty interesting here. And we'll see what happens. So Osyb's list, couple Snapcaster Mage, Sorin, Tamiyo, Terminus, Ultimate Price, Devour Flesh, Think Twice, Blind Obedience.
And kind of an interesting one, Psychic Strike. If you're not familiar, blue-black 1, instant, counter a spell, and they mill 2.
Yeah, so really interesting that he chose Psychic Strike. I guess it's easier on the mana than Dissipate, maybe?
Yeah, and Osyb killing the turn 1 mana creature with the Devour Flesh.
Yep. And we'll see if Keith has a turn 2 play here. So he's going to follow it up with another Avacyn's Pilgrim and a Stomping Ground. Alright, so Osyb with a control deck. Let's see if control will go 0-4 in the first 4 rounds or not.
Isolated Chapel, and he's just sitting on a pair of Azorius Charms. Is that a Ghost Council too?
No, Osyb's only creature is Snapcaster Mages.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess he's on the Nephalia Drownyard plan.
Yeah, Nephalia Drownyard, Blind Obedience, or he's going to win with Sorin or Tamiyo. It's kind of odd he plays Sorin with no Lingering Souls.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So both players with not too much for their third turn. Keith getting in for 1 and playing a land. Osyb cycling a Charm, but following it up with a Sorin.
Yeah, Sorin's definitely powerful here, but it looks like Keith probably has some trump cards. Alright, so the Searing Spear is going to hit the Sorin, so Sorin's going to fall down to 1.
No, it looks like it's actually hitting the Vampire token.
Oh, he's going to hit the Vampire token, okay.
Yeah, so Keith wants to keep those Vampires off the board, figures he can keep the Sorin in check with his creatures.
Yeah, I wonder if he has a haste creature or something.
I don't know.
I mean, overall, that's kind of poor management if he's not going to kill Sorin this turn, right? We'll see what happens. He's playing a Thragtusk. Okay. Kind of interesting because with Osyb playing the Sorin, Keith just Searing Spear in the token. It's like Keith almost just discarded the Searing Spear.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. I would have rather just seen him hold on to that Searing Spear.
Yeah.
Those tokens are just going to have to chump block anyway.
Yeah, because you want to keep Sorin's loyalty down. You don't want him to get the 6 and be able to steal some of your guys.
Right, and now if Osyb has a sweeper, he will be able to ultimate Sorin, I believe.
Well, he would have, if he had a sweeper, he would have had to Supreme Verdict first, then make the token.
Right, but I'm saying for next turn.
Yeah, I mean, Osyb does have a Supreme Verdict. I'm kind of surprised here. Maybe he's just going to sit in the Azorius Charm. I guess his play is for him to attack with a Thragtusk, Azorius Charm to Thragtusk, let Keith get the token on his turn, so then Osyb could Supreme Verdict on his turn, removing everything.
I see.
Yeah.
Either way, his game plan is to keep that Sorin alive for as long as possible.
Yeah, the only problem is, though, Keith has a Restoration Angel, I believe, so it's going to kind of alter Osyb's play. But he's going to lead off with a Devour Flesh.
Yep, and this is in combat, so this is before he's blocked.
Yeah. Kind of interesting here. So Osyb decides to chump block the Thragtusk, gaining a life in the process.
Yep, life total is 25 to 18 in favor of Keith. And wow, tap land. He doesn't play the other Thragtusk in his hand. Instead, just sitting on the Resto Angel.
Yeah. So in Keith's hand, he says a Thragtusk, a Restoration Angel, and a Stomping Ground?
Yeah, that looks right.
I actually didn't see the Thragtusk in his hand. I only saw the Restoration Angel. Alright, so he's going to blink out his Thragtusk. Let's see if Osyb has any response.
Yeah, that is just a backbreaker for Osyb. Instead of having an easily manageable Thragtusk, there's a flyer that's going to eat at that Sorin and another beast.
Well, Osyb still has at least one Azorius Charm, correct?
He does.
Yeah, I really disagree with Keith's play on the Searing Spearing, just a Vampire token. But maybe Keith has a strategy or some line he wants to take here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to play in a Magic game that many turns ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Based on, because of what you're going to draw.
Yeah. All right, so he draws another land. So it looks like he's holding 2 lands, and I believe it is a Thragtusk. I think you're right here. So if I was Keith, I would just send everything at Sorin. I just want Sorin off the table.
Yeah, I mean, your opponent has 2-3 cards in hand. He's almost out of gas. Really, you just have to get the Planeswalker out of there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if Keith does that.
We need the Moto arrow showing what they're attacking.
Wow. So Keith decides to go to Osyb's head with the Beast token?
No, I think the Beast token attacked Sorin and the rest attacked Osyb. I think that's what it was.
But
so,
I think Keith should have just swung everything at Soren.
Oh, okay. It was
Thragon Soren at Resto, yeah, and then Beast at his head.
okay. That's what it was.
Yeah, I really disagree with leaving Soren in play.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he did that. Sphinx is at the end of turn for Osyb. He'll gain 3, go back up to 16, or sorry, to 19. More importantly, they'll draw 3 cards.
Now, Osyb has a Supreme Verdict, so I think that's exactly what he wants to do here. Supreme Verdict, and then pump the Soren.
And look at this, the Soren is going to remain alive.
Yeah, that Soren definitely should have been dead, but I think Keith might have just mismanaged his resources here. And Osyb's going to pass a turn. Keith is going to need something really good here, maybe a Keswick Wolf Run or such. He does play 2 in the deck.
Because Osyb does have the Terminus in hand.
Yeah.
He'll be able to deal with those beasts if he has to.
So Osyb blocks here. Soren's going to fall down to 1.
Life total is slowly creeping up though. Keith at 30, Osyb at 20. Definitely favors the control player.
Yeah, and Keith just passes a turn. I think he's just sitting on 2 lands. So it looks like Osyb just has a complete lock on this game. He'll probably just hardcast Terminus here. Oh no, he chooses not to. I guess he wants to save the Terminus.
Oh, he has a Tameo.
He has a Tameo and an Azorius Charm, so yeah, he just wants to go more aggressive, which is fine.
Yeah, plus this Terminus, when cast in 3 turns, when Keith finally draws creatures, will have so much more value.
Exactly, yeah. So I like Osyb's style of play here. Keith is just really in a world of hurt, and it's mainly because of that Soren. Soren did most of the work here.
Yeah, I mean, Osyb, basically all of his spells just played support for Soren.
Yeah, exactly. But that Soren probably should have not even been in play. All right, so Osyb will draw for his turn. Osyb is, pretty much has a lock on this game. The only thing that Osyb's deck doesn't really have is counter spells. The only counter spells he has is the Psychic Strikes.
Right.
Yeah.
He does have 3 of them though, and they are hard counters.
Yeah.
You usually don't see hard counters that only cost 1 blue.
Yeah, I guess that's the reason. I mean, I'm so used to just seeing Dissipates, counter fluxes out of the red, blue, white flash decks. Sometimes even people are main deck in negates, Syncopate you see every once in a while. But maybe Psychic Strike is one of the cards you want.
Yeah, it seems like Osyb's deck is more of a white deck than a blue deck.
Yeah.
Naya mid-range matches are painful when you're against control, tweets Indolo Genius. Yeah, they really are.
All right, so now Osyb's going on the offense.
Yep.
And with Tameo threatening to get 8 loyalty counters, that's just pretty much game.
Yeah, Osyb has a Snapcaster. He has the Terminus still. He has an Azorius Charm. Yeah, he definitely has the hard lock this game.
Yeah, he has a really strong.
It won't take many turns for Keith to scoop in the face of Tameo Ultimate.
Yeah, I think Keith just drew a Keswick Wolf Run, which is not going to really do anything. I wouldn't even have played it because I don't want Osyb to know. I mean, I'm sure Osyb has an idea he's going to be playing Keswick Wolf Runs, but just giving that extra information, maybe Osyb puts him on a Gavany Township or whatnot.
Right. No reason to play the Wolf Run until your last land, until you need it.
Exactly, yeah, and it's more of a surprise as well. Osyb might think, oh, if he plays Restoration Angel, it's only 3 damage, but no, all of a sudden it's Keswick Wolf Run.
Exactly, and it gets tapped down by Tameo.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, once Osyb just ultimates Tameo next turn, Keith could just concede, and I mean, that's definitely fine. Most people concede when you ultimate Tameo.
Yeah, I mean, Sphinx's Revelation plus Tameo Ultimate is some game.
Yeah, Avis's Pilgrim is not really going to do too much here. So Osyb's going to untap with all his vampires.
And there it is.
There's the, I mean, he could just show him the 6 of Revelation.
Yeah, I would just show him my hand at this point.
Yeah.
Drop the hand onto the table.
I mean, just all of Osyb's spells and permanents are just going to come back to his hand, and he's going to have no maximum hand size.
Seems kind of good.
Yeah, there's the Tameo emblem. Osyb puts it into play. And he'll probably just pass the turn back after.
We'll see. Can Keith do 22 damage this turn?
Well, 25. Yeah,
22 is doable. 25 not.
Yeah, probably not, because those vampires do have lifelink. So it's. I just can't really. I mean, Osyb should probably just Azorius Charm this once. Yeah. So he's gonna block. Keith's gonna Keswick Wolf Run, and then Osyb's gonna Azorius Charm it in.
And Osyb adds insult to injury here.
Yeah, definitely with the Azorius Charm.
Yeah, and see, this is where the clock management comes in. Osyb trying to figure out how he wants to tap his lands, trying to figure out what he wants to do. It doesn't matter because the game's over. There we go.
So Keith finally decides to pack it up, which he probably could have done it a turn earlier, but it's fine there.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That was only a 10-minute game. Keith Palmer getting absolutely steamrolled by Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. He just couldn't fight through it.
But the whole thing is he actually could have fought through it. Just a Searing Spear, a different direction.
Right. Saving the Searing Spear would have made that game different.
Yeah, the Beast of Token also attacking it. And I think Keith probably realized how good Sorin and how important it is for Osyb. So maybe for the next game or the next 2 games, he'll decide to play a bit differently.
Right.
So looking at Osyb's sideboard, Osyb's not going to be bringing in the Psychic Spiral. He's probably going to bring in another Devour Flesh. Just really solid against an aggressive deck. Detention Sphere, sure, why not? Osyb also has access to 2 Restoration Angels in his sideboard. I can see him bringing those in along with the Ghost Council and kind of going more of a creature mid-range strategy against the Naya mid-range.
Yeah, I'm liking the creature-based control decks way more than the no creature-based control decks. Even though Osyb won that game, I still would rather see some creatures.
Sure, and now what can Keith bring in to try to combat Osyb's Esper control deck here?
Well, Keith has Gideon and Garruk in his sideboard, so if he wants to, he can go heavy Planeswalkers and try and overload Osyb's instant speed removal. That seems okay.
Sure.
He has 1 Boros Charm, 1 Selesnya Charm. Those aren't really that impressive.
Well, I think, putting Osyb on Esper, he's probably thinking Ghost Council.
Yes.
So why not Selesnya Charm?
Right.
So he's probably, I agree with you.
He would probably bring in one of each of those.
Yeah, probably a Selesnya Charm, a Boros Charm, a couple of Gideons, a couple of Garruks, and you know what? He's probably even going to bring in the Slicklash Spiders. Even though Osyb doesn't have Lingering Souls, he's probably thinking, hey, Osyb's playing Esper, I think I'm going to bring in the Slicklash Spiders.
Right, because he could have Lingering Souls.
Exactly.
So yeah, Keith has a lot of cards to bring in. It's pretty interesting. His deck, he's kind of playing all the, quote, best creatures in his colors. He has Huntmaster of the Fells, he has Loxodon Smiter, Thragtusk, Resto, Thundermaw Hellkite, Gore Clan Rampagers. So this Naya deck doesn't have that much synergy, but it has a lot of power.
Yeah.
So I would like to see him take out 3 Searing Spears, replace those with like Selesnya Charm, Boros Charm, a Planeswalker. Not sure what else to cut though.
And you know what? We've been giving Esper control decks and the control decks kind of a hard time, but maybe it's just the pilot sometimes. Osyb is a phenomenal player. He has multiple, Pro Tour top 8s. He won a Pro Tour. He has some success in the Grand Prix circuits as well. And he didn't really attend too many SCG live events yet,
the Opens.
The Opens. But if I know Osyb, he's trying to get the fire back, and he's probably going to attend a couple more Star City events, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing him at the Invitationals in the future as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It seems like he's definitely a player that how well he does is directly correlated to how much he cares.
Yeah, exactly. When Osyb's on a roll, he's done well at a couple of events. He'll go to more events, but Osyb's older now, full-time job, kind of tough for him to play. But when he does play, he normally puts in some effort, and he really enjoys Constructed more than Limited. So it's great that most of the Star City events are Constructed. However, Star City likes to mix things up every once in a while. Some of the SCG Opens in the future, Team Limited.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Really cool,
When I read the schedule for all the SCG Opens for Q2 and Q3, I got so excited. I wanted to tell everyone about it, but I couldn't because we had it a little early.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was post on Facebook, Team Limited event.
Sure,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. But
and also some of the events, both days will be standard. So if you come out, you have a standard deck you really love, you go 7-2, 7-3, pretty good result. You have a second chance on Sunday. So I'm definitely looking forward to some of the mix and match events in the future.
Yeah, definitely pretty fun. Actually finding out which ones those are for you so we can...
I believe Somerset, New Jersey is going to be a Team Limited event. So I'm looking forward to that. I believe it should be in May or July. We have the schedule. We'll look it up for you in a second.
Yeah, here it is. We have Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas is double standard.
Double standard,
Texas
awesome.
has always been just a stronghold of standard players.
Yeah. That's really good.
Yep, Somerset, New Jersey, Sunday, Team Sealed.
Yeah, so pretty much the first weekend of May, Saturday Standard, Sunday Team Sealed. I know there's a lot of players in New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia area that really loves Team Sealed, so I'm sure they'll be out for that.
Man, who's going to be our third?
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure if I'm going to play with you, Zach.
Oh, man, I better submit my application.
You might have to.
Who's the president of your fan club now? Who do I submit it to?
No one.
Oh,
It diminished.
Defunct?
Yeah, it defunct. Now I'm the vice president of Osyb's fan club. So
that's pretty prestigious.
Yeah, it really is. So we have Osyb looking like a little bit like B.O.B. with those glasses, no?
Yeah. I mean,
the airplanes in the nighttime like shooting stars. All right, so we have Osyb on the right-hand side. We have Keith on the left. Osyb just annihilated Keith game 1, so we'll see what happens after sideboard. Let's see if Keith has a keepable hand. I see a couple of lands. I see an Avacyn's Pilgrim or 2. So that's all you really need.
Exactly. Any hand with Avacyn's Pilgrim is so much better than a hand without. Most important one drop in Standard by far.
All right, old school Stomping Ground into an Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Old school Stomping Ground only makes you pay 1 life.
No, it doesn't. It's still 2. Oh, there's a Clifftop Retreat drawn for Keith. So I think he's just going to bust out a turn 2 Smiter. Boom. Yeah, there it is. Locks in the Smiter. But I mean, Osyb has access to Azorius Charm. Devour Flesh won't do too much here because of the Avacyn's Pilgrim. But we'll see what happens.
Still, though, he has a lot of ways to deal with the turn 2 Smiter.
Definitely. All right, so Keith is going to swing in for 4 damage here.
Life total is 18-16 in Keith's favor, and we'll see what he has for his turn 3.
I believe it's a Restoration Angel, and I mean, it's really telegraphed by... Oh, wow, I thought he had a Restoration Angel on his hand.
And maybe he thinks he's not going to need it this turn.
What is that white card at the end?
It sure looks like a Restoration Angel.
What else could it be?
It could be a Gideon.
Gideon?
No, Gideon would have a weird border.
Yeah,
I think it's Resto.
Yeah, that's kind of really crazy. He doesn't attack with the Pilgrim, and he doesn't play the Restoration Angel. So,
yep.
that is a Sacred Foundry, correct?
It's a Sacred Foundry, yep.
So he could just pay the 2 life to untap it, but decides not to. And there's an Azorius Charm.
And no Restoration Angel.
It must not be a Restoration Angel.
It sure looks like
a
Restoration Angel.
Yeah, I mean... all right, well, we'll see what happens. Instead, he decides to play a Thragtusk here. Maybe he's really scared of a Supreme Verdict or whatnot.
Right. Well, yeah. I wouldn't have played the Restoration Angel right there just because of Verdict.
Sure. But the previous turn, why not, right?
The previous turn, definitely.
Or at least attack with the Avacyn's Pilgrim. Right. Yeah, so Pilgrim hits the bin as well.
So not so bad for Keith. Not that backbreaking of a Supreme Verdict. Kills a Thragtusk, kills a 1/1.
So Keith is going to draw his Lockstone Smiter off the top. And I think right here he just wants to attack with the Beast Token, and play an Avacyn's Pilgrim, and then finally play that Restoration Angel, if that's what it is.
No, it looks like he might just be Wolfrun. No, it's another Smiter.
If you guys could tweet in just to confirm if that's a Restoration Angel or not, that would be greatly appreciated by Zach Hall.
And Gerard Fabiano.
No, not
coming
me.
to you live from the Stars of Games Invitation.
Why would I appreciate that? You're the one who asked for it. All right, so Osyb follows up with a Supreme Verdict. And there's a Thragtusk off the top for Keith. That's a good draw.
Yeah, that's
Keith
a great
is like, okay, I'll just draw a Thragtusk.
He's like, all right, I needed to save my Resto because I knew I was going to draw a Thragtusk.
That's pretty sick.
So Tusk comes down, and Osyb has to be running out of Supreme Verdicts now.
Yeah, I mean, just Thragtusk after Thragtusk, or just, Smiters. Eventually, Osyb's going to have to be running low on removal.
Yeah, and he only has 4 lands.
Yeah, and I see double Sphinx Revelation.
Wow. So Osyb's hand a little clogged.
Yeah, it's always kind of awkward when you have the Sphinx Revelation for 1, just trying to hit a land. That's kind of not what you want to be doing. All right, so we got confirmation from Mark. Thank you, Mark. It is a Restoration Angel. So Oblivion Ring is going to eat the Thragtusk, but Keith is going to get yet another Beast Token. And he has Wolf Run in play, so he could just, start using that Wolf Run.
Exactly. Keith is really in the driver's seat this game. The interaction between Kessig Wolf Run and Restoration Angel is a little awkward, but...
All right, so now he decides to pump the Beast to a 5/3, bringing Osyb down to 8 life.
Yep. Osyb drawing Azorius Charm, though, so if Keith falls for it again, if Keith decides to pump again, he's not going to be too happy.
All right, there's a Stomping Ground drawn by Keith. I think if I was Osyb, I could see just main phasing an Intensive Sphere.
Yeah, I think he wants to trick his opponent into activating Wolf Run here, and he does.
Yeah, but that Azorius Charm might be more valuable as a cycle.
Yeah, I don't think he has much choice, though.
Yeah. And I think Keith's follow-up play is going to be untap Stomping Ground, Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Right. I really like that he didn't play Stomping Ground to get in an extra 1. That's
Wow. Okay, he decides not to play Stomping Ground Avacyn's Pilgrim. I think playing the Avacyn's Pilgrim is really important there because it's another threat with the Wolf Run.
Yeah, I think Keith accidentally F6 there.
Yeah, maybe. F6 is referring to Magic Online when you skip through your turn. For those of you who don't play Magic Online, right. And if you do play Magic Online and you hit F6, remember F3 will save you, gives you back priority. All right, so Keith draws for his turn. Now he has a Smiter in his hand as well.
So Keith still has a lot of threats, even though that it seems like Osyb has dealt with every one. Yeah. Keith still has more.
Osyb's definitely done a great job, keeping up with Keith, because Keith did have an aggressive draw. So now he pays 2 life for Stomping Ground. Why is he? Do you think it's a Boros Charm?
It's either Boros or Selesnya. That's what he's trying to represent here. Whether or not he has it, I'm not sure.
We'll find out in a second. I mean, it really has to be a Boros Charm because a Selesnya Charm is like...
Yeah, put a 2/2 into play. That doesn't do too much.
It looks like it's neither. It looks like it's just a Stone Cold bluff.
Wow, I like that play from Keith Palmer. He was at 28. He doesn't need that life.
Keith must be a big-time poker player with all his bluffs, right?
It seems like it.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool thing to do. If you're playing against an opponent that would think about this type of stuff, because someone like Osyb, he's a really thinkful player, really strategic, and he's not really going to put Keith on a bluff here.
It's like maybe 2 to 5% of Keith's range is bluff here.
Does Osyb have Supreme Verdict in hand or no? I see a lot of gold cards. I don't know.
Yeah, can't quite tell.
All right, there's a Ghost Council, so Osyb's going to gain 2 life back. And he's just going to pass the turn.
And Keith Palmer does not Selesnya Charm it, so now Osyb is probably putting Keith firmly on Boros Charm.
Yeah, but Keith doesn't have Boros Charm.
Right, he doesn't have it, though.
I don't think he does. I mean, from my view, it looks like he doesn't.
So Keith drawing a Gore Clan Rampager, +4/+4 and Trample. That's a 4/4. It can also Blood Rush for 2.
Yeah, so with the Blood Rush cards, it's really awesome because you can use it as a pump spell or a creature.
Yeah.
And he's swinging in both right here.
And now Osyb has to be careful because if he thinks his opponent has a
Boros Charm,
he just has to block Smiter.
Yeah, because otherwise, with the Wolf Run and the Boros Charm, it's going to be too much damage.
Right.
Yeah. So this is actually a more interesting game than the last match when we had the Esper Control deck versus Flores' Green-White, because it was less strategy. Exactly. Green-White is just really straightforward, not much play.
Yeah, Naya, though, has these instants, has no planeswalkers.
Yeah, I really like Naya.
So, yep, there is the Gore Clan. And it almost looks like Keith's bluff backfires on itself because he drew the card that he was trying to represent.
All right, so he's giving his Loxodon Smiter Trample.
Okay.
It looked like he pointed to the Avacyn's Pilgrim, but so now Osyb is going to do what here? Let's see what he has. He's separating his mana. He does have a Supreme Verdict.
Wow, the 3rd Supreme Verdict of the match. That's the one that's for sure getting slammed.
All right, so Osyb falls to 5. Keith's going to untap. He's still holding on to that Restoration Angel, correct?
Yeah, he is. So that's going to be
entire
an
game.
Excellent follow-up.
That's going to be a pretty sick surprise. All right, so his hand now is confirmed Selesnya Charm and Restoration Angel. I just confirmed it myself, so I could be wrong.
It's confirmed.
But I'm pretty sure that's the case here. All right, let's see what Osyb chooses to do.
Oh, Psychic Strike in his hand, so he has a counterspell.
And knowing Osyb, he's the type of player that would definitely do anything he could to leave open the Psychic Strike.
Right, and here we go. That is either getting Ultimate Priced or Psychic Strike.
Well, he's going to have to Psychic Strike it and then probably Ultimate Price the Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Right. The Avacyn's Pilgrim threatens lethal with that Wolf Run.
Yeah. Also with 2 main deck Ultimate Prices. And a handful of gold cards.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell what those gold cards are, but to the best of my knowledge, Psychic Strike, 3 Sphinx's Revelation, and not sure about the last
I think
card.
it was another Detention Sphere.
Okay.
All right, Psychic Strike on the Restoration Angel.
Mill 2.
Let's see. Land. And land.
Thank you very much, Osyb.
I'm sure Keith would have taken that trade.
Yeah.
Let's see what Keith finds off the top of his deck. A Garruk would be great right here. I just see a Selesnya Charm. Not sure what the other card is.
Here comes the Wolf Run. He's going to make Osyb either drop to 1 or use his ultimate price. And there it is. With 2 Sphinx's Revelations in hand, he just wants to preserve his life total.
Now, I don't even know if Keith needed to try to bring them to 1. He could have just, pumped for less and played a second Abscess Pilgrim if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's not so bad. I mean, 2 is pretty much the same as 1.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once he gets Osyb below 3, his Searing Spears turn on if he still has them in his sideboard.
Right.
Or once he gets Osyb down to 4, his Boros Charms turn on.
Yeah, that probably would have been a better play.
Also, with the main phase Sphinx Revelation for 3, Keith really needs an opportunity. He has to draw something here, or it might be over. Oh, it's a Gideon he drew off the top.
Wow, Gideon is so strong against Osyb's deck.
So good, that draw. I mean, I think Osyb does have a Detention Sphere in his hand, but it's still just a really good draw. I think he should also play the Abscess Pilgrim in his hand.
For sure.
Maybe he's leaving open 2 because he wants to go end of turn, make a 2/2 Knight with Celestia Charm.
Yeah, that's not so bad. It's a nice instant speed answer, too.
Yeah. So Osyb's reading Gideon. Kind of a more exciting game.
Yeah, this game, it didn't look like it was going to be that good with Osyb casting 2 Supreme Verdicts, but there's been a lot of back and forth here.
All right, we got a couple of tweets in about this match, so that's always awesome.
Yeah, if you do want to tweet us, it's at SCG Live.
So Osyb has a really, really, giant hand. And he also just has giant hands in general. Osyb's a big guy. I think he's
As
going...
the vice president of his fan club.
I would definitely know.
You better know that. Can I get his reach, too? Do you have that on hand?
I have a shoe size.
Okay, that's cool.
Osyb's a size 13.
Well, I hope I get him for Secret Santa next year.
If you got him for Secret Santa, the SCG Live Secret Santa Club. All right, so Osyb started tapping 4 mana, thinking about playing a Sorin, but then decided against it. I mean, if it is the Detention Sphere, I think he's definitely going to play it.
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah, it really looked like a D-Sphere when he had it earlier in the game. Well, we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, it is a Detention Sphere.
Okay.
And he has an Azorius Charm.
So maybe thinking about Celestia Charm right here. Maybe trying to get a read off Keith Palmer as to what that last card in his hand is.
Yeah, I think Detention Sphere just pass could be good.
Oh,
Ooh,
he's going for it.
Wait, is this game?
No, I don't think it's
he
quite
makes
game.
a 2/2. He could pump for 3 for a 5. He gains 1.
And also absorbs 1. So even if he draws a land, it's not over.
Ooh, okay. So Osyb's looking now, counting. So right now it could be a 5/2 Trampler.
Right.
So he makes it to a 6/2 Trampler. That would be 5 points of damage, but Osyb's going to gain 1 off the lifelink.
Oh, Keith is so close, too. He's going to have to attack the Sorin, even though he can get Osyb to 1 or 2.
Yeah, Keith is going to have to top deck something here. A Boros Charm would end the game, correct?
Yeah, Boros Charm would do it.
He pumps it for 1, makes it a 3/2. Yeah, Boros Charm would do it. No, it's a Thragtusk, also a good draw. Why not?
Yeah, that's definitely a good draw.
Now, if you're Keith, I would just attack Osyb, but I think Osyb's going to block regardless.
Yeah, no matter what you attack, he has to block.
But I think it's more likely that Osyb's going to block if you attack Osyb.
Right. It looks like he attacked Sorin, wants to get it off the board.
But Osyb didn't even declare blocks or anything yet.
So 5/2 Knight token Vigilance. Not sure what it's attacking yet.
Yeah. Did Osyb declare blocks?
I don't think so.
Maybe he did. All right.
Well, there we go. Either way, he has to block. So Osyb takes the damage, gains 1, goes to 6, takes 4, goes to 2.
I think if I was Keith, I think I might have dropped a Thragtusk there.
Yeah, I mean
Osyb is
the vampire
tapped out.
still has to block.
Yeah, and Osyb is tapped out, so you don't want to get Psychic Spiral, Psychic Strike again.
Right.
All right, so Osyb plays a Hollow Fountain and passes the turn.
Sitting on his Azorius Charm.
Yeah, Keith draws a Sun Petal Grove. Not going to help him too much here, although it kind of beats with the Wolf Run. Just he really wants to be drawing spells now. Let's see what. I don't know here. This is. I mean, how many cards does Osyb have? Can we?
4, I think.
4?
Yeah, I don't really like Keith's play here because just like all the eggs in one basket. If he has any sort of Azorius Charm or that type of effect, any kind of removal spell, you're blown out. Your Thragtusk's not in play.
Yeah, and also having that Restoration Angel in hand, it's just you wanted to get that Thragtusk down when you could.
Right. Okay, it looks like we had a change in the life totals. Osyb is at 5.
Okay, Osyb's at 5 life now.
Yeah. We have the life total wrong. We forgot to gain off the Sphinx's Revelation.
Okay. So that makes Keith's plays, maybe more justifiable or different strategy here.
So end of turn, Osyb will Sphinx's Revelation for 3.
1,
go back up to 8.
2, 3. And he'll untap, and he'll probably be in control of this game right now. The only thing that really would save Keith is like a Ray Revelation. Unfortunately,
that would be pretty big.
He doesn't play any Ray Revelations in the sideboard, so I think Ray is a card that a lot of people, might miss. Might not really add it to their Naya deck, but it's just super powerful against these Esper control decks with Oblivion Rings, the Detention Spheres,
the instant speed. Too.
Yeah, with Blind Obediences in the format.
And here we go, 7 mana, Drog Skull Reaver.
Yeah.
Gain 2 life off that vampire.
And also we'll look at the draw cards. So he's gonna draw a card from gaining life. Draw Skull Reaver, 7 mana, 3/5. This is double strike and has lifelink.
Yeah.
And whenever you gain a life, you may draw a card. Whenever you gain life. So if you Sphinx Revelation for 5, you don't draw 5 extra cards. You would only draw 1 extra card.
And I definitely misspoke. I was thinking it made him gain 2 off the vampire, only 1. It itself has double strike.
Yeah, it would only gain 1 life. Yes.
Right.
All right. So Keith thinking what he can really do to pull out of this. I think nothing, to be honest.
Zealous Conscripts would be pretty good on that Sorin.
On that Sorin, yeah, that would be very good.
He doesn't have any in his deck, though.
Yeah, we're all listing cards. We're like, sure hope he draws a Rare Revelation.
Sure, it's too bad we're not playing Mental Match. Right?
Yeah. All right, there's a Thragtusk. Yeah, I think that Thragtusk could have came down a couple of turns earlier, but just the way the game played out, it just didn't really work into Keith's favor.
Yeah, this was a really interesting game.
Yeah, it was, but I think Osyb, always had control of it.
Yeah, if Keith had perfect knowledge of Osyb's hand, he probably could have played his way out of this, but it's so hard to play against these instant speed Esper decks.
But I mean, to be fair, Keith did miss, some 3 points of damage with the Alvison Pilgrim on turn 3 or turn 4. It just didn't do anything. It didn't attack, it didn't block.
Right.
I mean, if Osyb just could have, run out of Snapcaster there and trade with the Pilgrim, I'm fine with that.
So Tameo added to Osyb's side of the field, and this is getting ugly. Osyb going to deal 8, and he will draw 4.
No, he'll only draw 2 cards, correct? Or is he drawing 4?
You're right. He'll draw 2 cards.
Yeah, he'll draw 2 because the
combat damage.
Well, Osyb just said 4. Osyb 4. I think he only draws 2. No.
After thinking about it, I think you're right. Because you only gain like once for the whole combat phase.
So he gains first strike.
Hold on, we're gonna check on this for you.
Yeah.
I think he just drew 4 cards.
I think we should check because the Draw Skull Reaver deals first strike damage. That's the first time he gained life.
Right.
He draws 1 card. The life linkers deal damage. He draws another card. So maybe we can check Twitter as well to see. But I think he should only have drawn 2 cards there.
Yep, we have the match stopped, and the judge is checking the ruling for us.
Yeah, I'm not a judge, and I'm bad with rules. But overall,
that makes sense, though.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it like that, but that does make perfect sense. He only gains life once.
Yeah, I think they're holding the match. So far, nobody tweeted in yet. So the question is, did Osyb draw too many cards? I think he should have only drawn 2 cards. Osyb ended up drawing 4. Drexel triggers for each instance of lifelink.
Really?
So 4 cards because he has vampires and lifelink. Okay. And each vampire draws 1.
Well, I'm glad we put Osyb's heart in his throat for this last 2 turns of the match here.
So thanks, Twitter.
Yep, thank you, Mark.
Double check there.
Mark, all-star tweeter today.
Yeah, Mark. Mark's been tweeting all-star hits, so that's good. You always want to check, double check, and confirm. All right, so we got the tweets into confirming. All right, good. So we definitely have some judges watching. That's always good. Lots of times with these crazy rule interactions, it's really difficult to. And I mean, Keith is just way behind here. he's essentially dead in 2 or 3 turns.
Right. He was at such a high life total from all his Thragtusks, but really when it gets down to it, it doesn't matter how much life he's at.
This actually shows how Thragtusk can just get overpowered.
Yeah.
You know? So Thragtusk is definitely a powerful card. It's powerful on turn 5, it's powerful on turn 6, but essentially it just is not there.
So looks like Sorin Ultimate takes Thragtusk, takes Avacyn's Pilgrim, no third target. And Osyb will draw a card off the Thragtusk life gain.
Yeah, sure, why not, right?
Yeah.
Joe Skull Reaver doing lots of work for Osyb. And he's swinging in again. We'll see what happens. He'll draw a bunch more cards.
Yep, his opponent takes 9, drops to 11.
Yeah, Osyb's hand's got to be just, it's pretty much just over here.
As long as Osyb has 1 counter spell, his opponent's dead next turn.
And he's drawing again, drawing again, drawing again, drawing again, drawing again. Wow. 1, 2,
Keith
3.
needs a mind crank here.
Yeah, I mean, more like 10 mind. Yeah, I guess if he had 10 mind cranks and infinite mana, he would do okay. So
balance. That's one way out.
I mean, I'm sure Osyb probably has another Psychic Strike in his hand.
Yeah, he has to at this point. There's a Snapcaster in his hand. So that's a Psychic Strike. Terminus in hand. Sphinx's Revelation. All over but the crying. Osyb Lebedowicz trying to move to 4-0 here.
Yeah, that's definitely an awesome start. You know, only a 9-round tournament. Osyb's just about 3 wins away from getting to 7 wins, maybe double drawing into the top 8 if that's going to be allowed to or not. All right, and Keith extends the hand.
Yep, Thundermaw Hellkite met with a counterspell.
This is the first time we saw the control player actually win the match. Maybe if Keith, took a couple of different lines, he might have had a shot, but Osyb definitely